The word polymorphism is derived from Greek and means to have multiple forms. So poly meaning many and morph meaning forms. And in programming, polymorphism is the ability of an object to take many forms. So first of all, I'm going to show you an example that has no polymorphism. So here we have a car class with an init method where we set up some attributes that a car should have. So we have the brand, the model, the year and the number of doors, and we also have a couple of methods to start a car and stop a car. Okay, and we also have a motorcycle class which also has its own attributes, so the brand, model and the year, and it also has a couple of methods for starting and stopping a bike, okay, or a motorcycle. So let's say that we want to first of all create a list of vehicles to inspect. So we're going to loop through this list of vehicles and inspect them. So the inspection can involve, let's say, starting and stopping the vehicle. So first of all, let's create a sort of list of vehicles. So we can create first of all a car. So let's create a Ford Focus. And also let's add a motorcycle to the list. Okay. And now we need to loop through these. So let me just make a comment here. So create list of vehicles to inspect. And now we're going to loop through a list of vehicles and inspect them. So we can do this in Python by saying for vehicle in the vehicles list. Now in here we need to actually check what the type of object is. So the problem we have here is that this vehicles list is actually made up of different types of vehicles. We have a car, we have car objects, and we have motorcycle objects. Okay, so we don't really have like a common class to work with here. We have to kind of deal with separate types of objects. Okay, so for example, if I look at a vehicle, and let's say I want to look at, I want to start the vehicle. There are actually no common methods in these objects, in these classes, right? There's nothing to enforce these vehicle objects to actually have a start method. For example, in car we have a method called start, and in motorcycle we have a method called start bike. So there's nothing in our program that kind of gives us any certainty that the developer has kind of kept these methods consistent, right? So this is an issue, and that can kind of be solved in this case by checking what type of object that we are currently working with. So for example, if we want to check if this is a car object, we can use isInstance, which means is an instance of the car class. So we can see is vehicle, in this case, an instance of the car class, and if it is, then we know that this is a car, which means it will have all of the attributes and methods available on car. Okay, so we can safely access those attributes and methods. So let's just create a print here. So inspecting vehicle.brand. And then let's also log the type of the vehicle. Okay, which we will know as a car object. And we just want the name here actually. And then we also want to check if we are dealing with a bike, so we can say, is the current vehicle that we're dealing with in this loop of type, or is an instance of the motorcycle class? And if it is, we will do an inspection, so we can print the vehicle brand, the model, and the type. And also what I wanted to do is actually start and stop the vehicle, so we can say vehicle dot start. So you can see here that Python knows that we are dealing now with a car object because we've checked that it's a car object, and Python is it's kind of known, I think, as type scoping, where Python knows that within this if conditional block we are dealing with a car object because we have checked and ensured that it's a car object here. So you can see VS Code now is providing us with all of the methods and attributes that are available on car objects. So we can call the start method and we can call the stop method. And then let's also do the same for motorcycles. So we can say vehicle dot, you can see on motorcycle we actually gave the method a kind of different name, so start bike, and vehicle dot stop bike. Okay, and we could also, just to kind of make our program a little bit more safe, I guess, we could throw or raise an exception if there is an object in this list that is an invalid vehicle. Okay, so if it's not a car or a motorcycle, we can throw an error. So we can say else raise exception, object is not a valid vehicle. Okay, so let's run this program to see what happens, and we can see that we first inspect the forward focus, which is of type, which is made of the class name car, and then we inspect the motorcycle, which is made from the motorcycle class, and we start and stop the motorcycle. So you can notice this really ugly code inside of this for loop, and the reason for this is because vehicles, this vehicles list, is a list of any type of objects. We can put anything in this list, and so we have to figure out when we loop through this list of objects what type of object that we are currently dealing with inside of each loop before we can access any information on the object, or at least access any information safely. Okay, because there's nothing to kind of enforce, there's no kind of consistency enforced between motorcycle and car. We can kind of call, these methods whatever we want, we can call these attributes whatever we want, and there's nothing kind of enforced or shared or consistent between these two objects. So that means we have to check what type of objects they are before we can safely access the attributes and methods on those objects. And another issue with this is that this code will continue to get uglier with more if conditional statements as we add more vehicle types. So for example, if we extended our code base to include a new plane class, so with like an aeroplane, then we'd need to modify this existing code that we have here. We'd have to add another conditional check in this for loop to check if the current vehicle that we are dealing with is an instance of the plane class. So we can solve this issue that we have with polymorphism. So cars and motorcycles are both vehicles, so they both share some common properties and methods. So let's create a parent class that contains these shared properties and methods. So we're going to create a kind of parent vehicle class, or a sort of superclass for vehicles. Okay, so we'll call this class vehicle, and it's going to have an init method where we initialize some attributes. So each vehicle, no matter whether it's a car, motorcycle, plane, boat, should have a brand, a model, and a year. And we can set those up. Okay. And also, each vehicle should have the ability to start or stop. So let's provide some methods to start and stop each type of vehicle. Okay. So car and motorcycle can now both inherit these attributes and these methods from the vehicle class. So if you can remember from before, to inherit, we just have some parentheses after the class name and add in the class that we want to inherit from. And also, if you can remember from before, we can access the superclass by calling super, and then we can access the init method on this superclass and pass in the values that we need to pass to the superclass. So brand, model, and year are all shared attributes for each vehicle, and then you can see that we have number of doors is specific only to this car class. Okay, and we can do the same for motorcycle, so let's go ahead and do that. And you can see that motorcycle actually has none of its own kind of specific attributes. Okay, so let's see, what is the issue here? So we actually need to inherit the vehicle class here. Okay, so let's actually have a look to see if all of this still works. So you can see all of this is still working. However, I think what we'll do actually now is just comment out these methods for now. So we're just going to inherit these start and stop methods from the vehicle class for now. So let's comment those out, and we're actually going to recreate our inspection logic because this is pretty messy with all these if conditional statements. So for vehicle in vehicles. So now we know that all vehicles inherit this vehicle class. Okay, so we can actually now treat all specific vehicles just as a type vehicle. Okay, so we don't have to worry about the specific type of vehicle to perform an inspection on each vehicle. So all we now need to do is just check that it's a type is an instance of vehicle. So we can say if is instance the current object, if it's a instance of the vehicle superclass, then we can just perform our inspection. So I'm just going to copy and paste in the inspection logic for now. So you can see here we're doing basically what we were doing before. So we inspect the brand, the model, and then we log the type of class that this vehicle is made from. We then start and stop the vehicle. So now if we run our program, we can see that we get vehicle is starting and vehicle is stopping, and then we inspect the motorcycle, which is of type motorcycle, so it's made from the motorcycle class, and we get vehicle is starting and vehicle is stopping. But let's say that we wanted to provide more kind of specific methods for starting and stopping each vehicle. Well, what we can actually do is we can override the methods from the vehicle superclass within each specific class. So in car, we inherit these start and stop methods, but we can actually override them, so kind of provide more specific implementations within the car class itself. And we can also do the same thing for a bike. Okay, but we need to actually give it the same name as the method that we are inheriting to actually override it. So let's run the program now to see what we get, and we can see now we get a more specific log to the console. Okay, so you might be wondering, that about car and motorcycle are now both extending this vehicle class as they are both vehicles. But you might be wondering, what's the point in car and motorcycle both extending vehicle if they are going to implement their own versions of the start and stop method? And the reason for that is because we can now treat all of these objects as vehicles. Whether it's a car or a motorcycle, we can now treat them in the same way. We don't have to worry about each specific vehicle. We can just treat them as vehicles, okay? Which means that they all share. We know it's kind of guaranteed that each vehicle is going to have these set of attributes and this set of methods, okay? So despite the vehicles being of different types, polymorphism allows us to treat them all as instances of the base vehicle class, and the specific implementations of the start and stop methods for each vehicle type are invoked dynamically within this loop. Okay, so what we can also do here in Python, we can use kind of type hinting. So we can say that vehicle is a list, vehicles, it needs to be a list of vehicle objects. Okay, so now this is going to kind of further enforce that vehicles has to be a list of vehicles. Okay, so now what we can actually do is remove all of this code, and because Python knows that this vehicles list can only contain vehicles, we can actually just have our inspection logic. So if we uncomment this and okay, so you can see Python actually knows that these methods and attributes exist, because we are saying that vehicles is a list of vehicle objects, and therefore it's guaranteed that they have a brand, a model, and a start and stop method. So if we now run the code, we can see we get everything as before without all of these conditional statements. So because this list can now only contain objects that extend the vehicle class, we know that every object will share these common fields and methods, meaning that we can safely call them without having to worry about whether each specific vehicle has these fields or methods. So this demonstrates how polymorphism enables code to be written in a more generic and flexible manner, allowing for easy extension and maintenance as new types of vehicles are added to the system. So for example, if we wanted to add another type of vehicle, we don't have to modify the code used to inspect vehicles, or the client code, right? We can just extend our code base, so add another class to our code base without having to modify the existing inspection logic. So let me just show you another example here. So if we actually add another type of vehicle, so let's say we add a plane class, okay? So here I've just pasted in a plane class, which extends the vehicle class. We then set up the brand, model, year, and planes also, like cars, have a more specific attribute for the number of doors. And then we override these start and stop methods from the vehicle superclass. Now let's say in our list we add a plane. Okay, and let's see, this can be a Boeing, let's see, 747, and the year can be 2015, and the number of doors, let's say, is 16. Okay, so you can see we're getting no errors in the program so far, and if we run the program, we can see we're inspecting the Boeing 747, which is of type plane, and then we start and stop the plane. You can see that we haven't actually had to edit any of our current inspection logic, whereas beforehand we would have to add another if statement to check if the current object, the current vehicle object that in the list, is of type plane. So the code to perform the vehicle inspection logic doesn't have to change to account for a plane. Everything still works without having to modify our inspection logic.